Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here as always. So tonight I am going to be talking about a recent incident that occurred at a punk rock show in Las Vegas where a guy wearing a t-shirt with a rather offensive World War II symbol on it was singled out, and he found out that he was in the wrong place to be wearing that t-shirt. So I'm going to be discussing it tonight. I'm going to be talking about that t-shirt, the symbols, and how many videos around this incident have wrongly labeled this guy as a Nazi. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about that as well. So let's get into it, yeah? All right, so many of you have probably seen this video brought to my attention by my bro Tommy. It's circulating around YouTube, and of course all the Antifa and the leftists are jumping all over it. You know, it's like, this guy is a horrid Nazi, and how dare he wear a Nazi shirt to a punk event? Like, oh, of all things, a punk event. What's wrong with him? Well, yeah, many things, obviously, but is he really a Nazi? I don't personally think so. Now, let's talk about the t-shirt in question. So the guy in the video is clearly wearing a Dago Choppers t-shirt, which is actually a Hells Angels supporter t-shirt. Yeah, it's from the Dago chapter in San Diego. Now this has actually been in use for a long time, but let's look at the actual t-shirt. Now the t-shirt itself has Dago Choppers, and it's got the SS, which are the double sig runes used by the SS, the Schutzstaffel, which was one of the elite fighting units of World War II on the German side, known for their brutality and their fighting skills. That was the SS. So the SS symbol has been used for a long time, since World War II, mostly within the outlaw biker world. Yeah, they're the ones who have kept it around. Why? Why have they kept using this really offensive symbol? Well, for many reasons, and I've talked about a lot in my video of Outlaw Bikers Racist. You can go check that one out. A lot of the symbols used in biker culture, like the swastika, the SS, the Iron Cross, are all symbols of rebellion, strength, and for some a badge of honor. Now, many of the original outlaw bikers were all returned World War II vets. Many of these guys actually fought and killed SS soldiers. So wearing their badges, their patches, all that kind of stuff were war trophies, and it was a badge of honor.
This is an SS patch. It's an original one. It was a gift from a brother, and it's got a lot of bearing. It was a gift. You know what it meant at the time? It was the elite of its core, anti-Semitic or whatever. Well, I guess I'm the proof that we ain't. You know, because I'm Jewish, and I sure ain't a fascist, and I sure ain't anti-Semitic, because I don't hate myself.
Of course, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of outlaw bikers were actually extremely racist. It was well known. The Hells Angels actually had a whites-only policy for the longest time. They've kind of eased that nowadays. It's not such a whites-only club. The SS logo has been used for a long, long time to represent many, many things. Now, for some, it also allowed them to kind of put their views out there without having to be questioned all the time as to why they're wearing a swastika. The SS wasn't really recognizable. You know, everyone knew what a swastika was when they saw it. The SS symbol, not so much. You can get away with it. And I've seen many retro choppers, even today, still using the SS. There's actually one in Christchurch, New Zealand. Absolutely beautiful retro chopper. And it has the SS painted on the tank. For most, it is a hark back to that old biker culture. Yeah. The old OG outlaw bikers wearing the SS symbol. So as to this guy who's wearing the t-shirt, now why is he wearing this t-shirt? Why is he wearing it to a punk show of all places? To be honest, he's probably actually completely ignorant of the fact that the SS represented what it did and why it became so offensive. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't care, I don't know. No one really knows his reasons for wearing that t-shirt to that show. But he definitely found out that there are repercussions for wearing that in public, especially in some places. But for many of these guys, especially the supporters, they are wearing those t-shirts in support of the Hells Angels. Now, they are not supporting what beliefs they may have had way back in the day, whether they held, the whites only policy. None of them wear those shirts because of that. I mean, well, some of them probably do, but for the most part, they are just supporting the Hells Angels. They want to feel like they support, belong, all that kind of stuff. So this guy is probably a bike fan, a chopper fan, or a biker himself, and he's bought this t-shirt, or someone bought it as a present for him. Who knows? And he's just decided to just chuck that on and wear it to this punk show. And how do I know that he wasn't wearing it to be offensive? You can tell by his reaction when he actually started being pushed around and abused and assaulted by the crowd. Now, if he was really a staunch Nazi wearing it to really offend people, he would have stood his ground, he would have been yelling at them, and he would have been fighting them. So I honestly think this is just a case of him not really fully knowing what he was wearing, or he did, and he thought it wasn't that much of an offensive symbol. So he decided to wear it out anyway. But he unfortunately wore it to a punk event. Now, punks in the beginning, there were a lot of Nazi punks around. There was a lot of crossover with, the boneheads and Nazi punks and all that kind of stuff right up until the 80s, even into the 90s. But for the most part, punk did turn left. And it became very much anti-racist, anti-fascist. And punk is kind of the voice of the liberal left, especially in America. Also in America at the moment, there is a massive divide. There's a lot of racial tensions, and of course, everyone is looking to cancel everything and everyone. So any excuse. I'm not justifying him wearing this t-shirt by any means, but I am also not justifying them going after him like this. Maybe they could have had a conversation to start with and make him aware that the shirt that he's wearing is offensive. And if he turned around and said, well, yeah, I don't care, then great. But the problem is a lot of this cancel culture and people who believe that everyone's a Nazi, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's getting a bit crazy. And I've seen that from all these reaction videos. Everyone is jumping on it, and this guy is a Nazi and he shouldn't be allowed in public, blah, 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 blah. Besides him wearing a t-shirt with 2 sig runes on the back, he made no other displays of racism. He wasn't, out there yelling racial epithets or anything like that. He was just wearing a t-shirt, for everyone in the crowd calling him out. There were probably some actual racists, some actual Nazis at that punk event. But most of them know not to wear anything offensive in a large crowd. Nazis aren't the smartest, but they do know that from years of experience. If you don't want to get trampled on by a few thousand angry leftist punks, don't wear an offensive symbol to a punk show unless you're ready to fight. And so, yeah, I honestly believe that this guy isn't a Nazi, but he has absolutely terrible choice of fashion clothing going to particular shows. If he wanted to wear that shirt, he probably should have gotten to Laconia or Sturgis or one of the bike events or even a Klan rally. They probably would have found, people sporting similar fashion choices at those events. Hopefully this guy has taken it as a lesson and to not be ignorant as to what you are wearing. The SS logo does have connotations, and for all those bikers out there who claim that the SS actually means stock sucks, come on, dude. We all know that you made that up just to justify having the SS on your tank, your shirt, or whatever. That symbol will always be that symbol. It will always represent the Schutzstaffel, and that's why it's actually banned in Germany as well. All it really comes down to is just making better choices, especially for what you wear in public, for what you represent. So this guy really learned a hard lesson, as I've said, and hopefully in future he will make better choices, or he will actually run with it and go and hang out with some Nazis and, go find kindred spirits, and he won't get bashed at punk shows. But I say to everyone else out there, who's just pointing the finger and calling everyone a Nazi, don't.
It's not as fun to be a Nazi anymore. when they started calling Elon Musk a Nazi and Trump and, you know, pretty much every Republican, it made it a lot harder for me to stand out. It's like I go out in public and I'm like, hey everyone, I'm a Nazi. And they're like, big deal. Everyone we don't like is a Nazi.
At least do your research, at least do your homework. If you do encounter someone wearing something like that in public, maybe have a conversation with them. If the conversation isn't civil, then hey, you have your answer. But don't be too quick to judge, because trust me, I know Nazis. I know a lot of Nazis. I know a lot of racists. I have for many, many years. You know, I lived that entire life. And I can see, you know, when someone is actually truly a racist and when they're not. And when someone just has really, really poor fashion choices. Anyway, that's another video for me, done and dusted. Thanks for tuning in. And hey, if you want to support me and support this channel, in many different ways you can do it. You can buy me a coffee. It's the best way to support me and keep me going. Or you can buy my merchandise. Speaking of t-shirts and stuff like that, nothing too offensive, especially not in the racist realm, but check it out, YouTube store, you can buy all my merch, or you can sign up for my Patreon and all that good stuff. All the links are in the description below. Every little bit of support is always appreciated. And if you can just give this video a big like, subscribe down below, and hit the little bell and you'll get notified new videos coming out from me every week. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week. I'll see you on Sunday. Peace out. Love and light to you. And wear a happy shirt.